Hi everyone, welcome to the Digital Solution Q1 webinar. We have a very exciting agenda today with updates about Q1 2025 webinar for digital solutions. I am Julie Pesch. I am the communications lead for Breeding for Tomorrow science program and Breeding Resources, which is the area of work of Breeding for Tomorrow hosting this webinar. We are together today for an hour, and we have a number of small, short presentations from the team, at the end of which you will have the opportunity to ask questions to the digital solutions team of Breeding Resources. You can either put your questions in the chat while the team is speaking, or raise your hand at the end of the presentations and we'll address them. The webinar will be recorded, so in case some of your colleagues couldn't make either the morning session or the afternoon session, we have an event page on CGIAR.org where you can find all the recordings of all the previous webinars and this one, plus the presentation. So I think I'll now give the floor to Marco to start. Marco?
Thanks, Julie. So my name is Marco Kärkkäinen. I'm the operations lead of Digital Solutions. Nice to see you all here. And we are here to share information about our operations. What have we been doing for the last 4 months? So this is our agenda. We just give a little bit of updates at the beginning, then go through our operations one at a time until at the end a little bit of a project that we are working with. Next slide, please. So we start off with Breeding Resources and Digital Solutions, latest news more on the Digital Solutions, and I'm doing the talking instead of Andre, who's our unit lead, but he's on leave now. Before this year, we were part of the Breeding Resources initiative, and now we have transitioned completely to the Breeding for Tomorrow's area of work, which is called Breeding Resources. And in Breeding Resources, we have different operations, and Digital Solution is one of the operations over there. And that's what we are, and that's what we are showcasing today, what our unit has been accomplishing. So how did we get here? A little bit of history. During the last couple of years, we have transitioned from being a project team to an organization and unit. We started off pretty much while working on our flagship product, enterprise bidding system. So up until then, we have been building this enterprise bidding system for several years, and it was a project. Back in the day, in 2023, the EBS was selected as a single data platform for breeding information management in CG. And that was enough green light for us. And then we started to really engage with customers and different CG centers to broaden our customer base, pretty much adopting the system. And more adoption metrics later on. But by the end of 2024, there were lots of new crops that were using the system, a lot of new CG institutes, even some of NAS partners that were adopting the system. That was really an catalyst for us to turn from project to an organization that we are calling now Digital Solution. And we have continued from there this year. Raising awareness, we have been participating in different kind of events. Plan is that even though that enterprise bidding system is our flagship product, we want to have a broader product portfolio, so providing more solutions to our potential customers. In I think it was February or March, but not that long ago, CIMIT Science Week took place, and it was really focused on data. And of course, EBS is a data management system, so we file a poster about the EBS and the way that it has been built and so forth and so forth. And we participate also in different workshops on that event. And to our surprise, pleasantly surprised, we won the poster award. And it just confirmed us that we are on the right track. We are doing something correctly because it was recognized by our colleagues and at CIMIT. So it's a nice present and wonderful picture of Andrea taking the prize, which was coffee cup and something else. But big thanks to the team for of course, the win. But it was a nice surprise to us. Then last month, there was this CGIAR Science Week in Kenya, and where the Building for Tomorrow was officially launched, and all the areas of work were presented, and among others, breeding resources was presented there, and we did our part on as a digital solution unit. It was a wonderful event. We met a lot of people that were interested in our work. We shared the information, who we are, what we do, and made a lot of connections that hopefully pay off later on to get more customers and broader impact on CG level. Thank you everybody that was involved in that event. It was great. What's the plan for this year? In a nutshell, is to broaden the product portfolio, but of course, because EBS is the flagship product, we want to ensure that it's widely adopted within CG. So we have a quite ambitious plan where all the CG centers would have started to use the system by the end of the year. That is the plan, and so far so good. And you can see on the left side on the diagram growth that we have had for EBS users. In the beginning, there were a few hundreds, and we are reaching almost 1,000 by the end of this year. I think we will bypass that. As you can see on red, there has been some early adopters from NAS organizations, and the plan is that in 2026, our focus shifts from supporting the CG to supporting of the NARS, so that they can also start to utilize the best open source breeding information management system in the world. Along the way, of course, EBS is just one system among others, and we are connecting to different kind of solutions that are used to capture and utilize data within CG. So interoperability is part of what we do, have been doing, and continue to do. And we truly believe that this is a path where we are establishing an CG-wide research data ecosystem that serves a lot of customers, and then we have a lot of impact on the CG itself. Up until now, we have been building interoperable solutions, for example, to Bioflow, which is analytical, where the analytical pipelines are. We are starting to work together with different vendors regarding the image analysis, and with CropTrust, we are connecting with the GeneBank and other solutions that are out there. A lot of connections, a lot of work has been done, but it continues systematically to build this data ecosystem. So then I will turn over to the global user support that will tell what they have been doing lately.
Hi everyone, good afternoon, good morning, good day. My name is Mayan Salian. I am the designated adoption lead. I, together with Simon and Ruth, will be discussing about the global user support updates. So what are adoptions? The adoption process to a new software system refers to the structured steps to successfully introduce, integrate, and get users to embrace a new platform. Our adoption process is composed of three main activities: migration, configuration, and training. It is time-bound and a shared responsibility between our team and the adopting institute. If you require more information on what is being done in an adoption process, you may reach out to us through the QR code that you see in the slides. So the following are the updates on our adoption projects. We have what we call the exploratory projects, which is in the case of IITA Cassava. So this means that an EBS instance is put up for the data managers or specific users from their institute to try out and see if their workflows is doable or in an EBS system. This year, we also started engaging with the NARS partner. The adoption process that are about to start are from both CG centers, which is ICRISAT, and also the CIAT. And then also for the NARS, we have the CARO, TARI, and IIAM projects. So they are all based in Africa, and they are looking into adapting EBS for different crops. So what's ongoing now is the ICARDA project. So there are two projects. One is a project for the wheat, durum wheat, and also spring bread wheat that goes to the CIMMYT instance of wheat, and also another project for the other crops that we will be calling as the ICARDA instance. So what has been totally completed the past quarter are the CIMMYT sorghum, the DCP adoption project, and also CIAT Fortis project. With the new adoption that's ongoing, we have increased our production instance from 5 to 6. We also have added the Bambara groundnut under the legumes instance. And of course, the dryland crop, which is the ICARDA instance. So this is increasing our user base from 20 countries to 22, and also for 20 crops. So that's all from me.
My name is Kate Dreyer, and I'm a member of the Global User Support Team in Digital Solutions and also work in data management at CIMIT. So after new institutions come into the EBS, we want to make sure that they have excellent support for the use of the system. And so one of the services that we offer is a support desk where people can provide requests for questions, data curation, if they experience any problems. And you can see that it's quite active from the number of tickets that were created in the last quarter. While receiving new tickets, we've also been responding to open tickets from the previous quarter. So there's always some tickets that take some time to resolve, but we're always trying to address any of the requests that come in as quickly as possible.
So as you can see, in the last quarter, we have 309 created tickets and 352 resolved. So if I'm going to be considering for the past year, I could say that the JIRA tickets submitted are decreasing. That means that the user has lesser need for support. And as well, the number of supports that's being resolved are greater than what is actually being submitted. One thing to note here, though, is that the tickets that are getting resolved does not mean that the tickets that are created within the same quarter. So we are looking at the past tickets, but the statistics would show that we are resolving more than what is being added.
And you can see that there was good customer satisfaction from the users, and that's really thanks to the work from various different teams. People are responding in the service desk from global user support, from the development team, solution enablement, and also local data managers that are providing curation services. So we thank all of them for ensuring that we try to provide excellent support to the EBS users. In addition to having the support desk, we also have a focused group that includes data managers and key focal points from all the different adopting institutions. Adopting institutions have some people that are providing on-the-ground support to their users, and we want to make sure in the regional support network that they are aware of the most important updates in the EBS and can also provide peer information sharing so that people, if they need to provide solutions to any kind of challenges, can really learn from each other and support each other, empowered to provide good support for the EBS locally.
So in this table, you will see that the three regions, Africa, Americas, and Asia, have this much participants, and then these are covering this number of centers. Do note, however, that even though the RSN started being active since February, the statistics here only show the March and the April.
I'd now like to turn over to Simon to talk about training.
Thank you very much, Kate. My name is Simon Imoro. I'm a data manager at IIT and also the Digital Solutions Global User Support Lead for training. Training is one of the key support services that we provide to our customers, both existing and new customers, under our Global User Support Desk. And this is to ensure effective adoption and use of the digital solutions, products and services, especially the enterprise building system. We provide three kinds of training. We provide the what we call the end user training, which targets adopting programs that are currently adopting EBS and being onboarded to make sure that we empower the users to effectively use the tools and features of the enterprise building system and any other digital tools that they'll be using under digital solutions. Under training for Q1 in 2025, we provided the Train the Trainer, which is an online workshop that we conduct for crop data managers and support staff across different institutions, ICADA, IIT, and CIMIT. And this was in March that we conducted this training. The purpose of this training is to empower adopting programs that are coming into the EBS to be able to use the system effectively for their building operations. Training is one of the key services that we provide at the Global User Support Desk. And we ensure that we provide our users with excellent support to be able to have a smooth experience whilst adopting EBS. One of the training that we also provide, apart from the Train the Trainer, is the end user training, which normally comes on board when the adopting program is about to be onboarded. That one targets every user of the building program that is coming on board. Another training that we provide under the Global User Support is the what we call the regular training webinars and seminars, which we provide. And this is monthly basis sometimes that we provide to highlight new features that the EBS system is releasing and also improve features that have been updated to our users. This is to enable that they are up to date of the system features and functionalities, and they can use them effectively in their reading operations. During Q1, we also provided a demo session to eCreSAT work teams, which targeted all the breeding programs in eCreSAT for them to be able to make their informed decisions. This training covers most of the breeding operations and the core breeding in EBS and also breeding analytics. And we targeted all the programs, and 25 participants were there in that particular training. As we heard earlier, plans have been advanced to bring them on board fully to the EBS family. Hopefully by the end of this year or before the end of this year, they will be onboarded fully into the EBS platform. Upcoming training plans for Q2, we demonstrated how the EBS and Fieldbook app work. That was early this last month, April. And this month we are targeting to provide similar webinars for how new experiment designs are created in EBS using the new interface. This is a new interface design that we can use to load experiments. And also we are also making plans for giving demo sessions for EBS cassava users. As you heard earlier from Kate, that cassava is undergoing an exploratory training, and not only cassava, because we loaded all the cassava database to EBS from CGIAR, IIT, and their NAS partners. So this week on Friday, we are giving a demo to all the cassava team to be able to see how their data in EBS is being used or can be used to influence their breeding operations. Invitations have already been sent to participants who will be participating in this demo. We also have in June, we will also be giving a similar demo session in June for similar training. And if you want to have access to EBS to be able to practice, then we have a QR code here where you can scan and get access to a demo environment to practice how EBS can be used in your breeding program. Thank you. Over to you, Ruth.
Thank you, Simon. Good day, everyone. I'm Ruth Carpio, and I'm pleased to present how digital solutions continue to enhance your experience through improved EBS documentation and communications. We've made significant changes in refining our user resources, significantly our user guides and navigation pages. The visual layout have been optimized so you can easily find the help you need. The updated interface highlights the most recent EBS user guides based on the Q1 release, conveniently accessible from the right-hand menu. These improvements have resulted in higher engagement during the first quarter of 2025, particularly in conjunction with our training activities. For instance, analytics from March 11 shows that the user guide was accessed 1,913 times in a single day, contributing to a total of 8,615 anonymous views during Q1. You may scan the QR code displayed on the screen to explore the current user guide landing page. From there, you can view the resources organized by the main or crop breeding activity workflow. Additionally, the EBS FAQs have been updated to better address your common questions. We also enhance our user release notes not only in design but in functionality. The improved navigation now links you to detailed release information and other relevant resources, making it easier to understand new capabilities and how they are related to your work. This section also rise in engagement with 407 visits recorded on April 28 and a total of 734 anonymous views in Q1 alone. To improve accessibility further, we've launched an unofficial YouTube channel for EBS video materials, including AVPs and tutorial clips. You can find the channel using the QR code on your screen. Since its pilot launch in February, our top viewed videos, including KEP, feedback from Luis and David, and our AVP from the 2025 CGIAR Science Week. We invite you to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to stay updated with future video content from CGIAR DSPRS. We now also offer an EBS membership content page where registered users can access exclusive updates new materials, and resources aligned with digital innovation efforts. So it's in LinkedIn. To request access, please scan the link provided on the screen. Lastly, our EBS newsletter continues to evolve. You can now receive EBS updates straight to your inbox, tailored to your communication preferences. As shown in the visual, our latest edition achieved a 48% open rate in 1 month and saw a 32% increase in subscribers over the past 60 days. We encourage you to visit our website and subscribe via the pop-up prompt. Thank you for your attention, and I will now hand over to the next presenter. Thank you.
Thanks, Ruth. It's me again on behalf of CGIAR, who's leading the solution enablement team, who's on leave today. I will share some updates of their work. It's a team of cloud engineers, software quality assurance experts that are working together in different solutions. So one solution that we have been working on is an EBS Lite. It's not going to be a brand name or anything like that. There will be only one EBS overall. And the purpose for EBS Lite is to enable large-scale adoption of EBS. So right from the start, EBS has been considered as an enterprise system, which means that it has a lot of functionalities, tools, and so forth. Big system, a lot of functionalities, a lot of tools, and it can be a little bit intimidating for the customer because it has 50 tools and 500 functionalities and so forth. And the costs were quite high because of the massive size of the whole system. So that's why we started to work on a working title called EBS Lite. And one objective is really to cut down the cost, to lower the operational cost so that even the small or medium-sized companies can actually afford to adopt EBS. And at the same time, to make it configurable in a way that if there's a customer that doesn't need all the functionalities and tools that the EBS offers, we can then disable them so that they don't have to pay for it. We have started that work, we have the baselining there, and we understood what application improvement needs to be done to accomplish this EBS Lite objective. What's next? When we are making changes, we need to make sure that we don't break anything. So we will test heavily during the Q2 and Q3 to ensure that when we are configuring EBS Lite, it is really stable and functional. And then when we are ready with that, somebody needs to be a guinea pig, and that's what we call it, customer onboarding. So we want early adopters to try to use EBS Lite that has been configured and so forth. And we hope that by the end of the year, we have a working version of the EBS Lite in the customer's hands. This name Monster hybrid testing automation framework is something that the team has built over the years. It's not new, but we wanted to highlight it because it's very, very important part of our operations. So when we are building software, we need to test so that it doesn't consist bugs when we are releasing it. And software quality assurance is part of the solution enable team's responsibility, and they have built this hybrid testing automation framework to be able to do that. So this work that they are conducting improves the quality of the solution, with improved user satisfaction at the end of the day. So some of the outcomes here, the main point is that you guys now know about it, that there is this framework that team has built and are using for testing this EBS. Another solution that we are building is that data migration pipeline. Like mentioned before, our ambition is to grow so that the EBS is adopted by all the CG centers. And that means that the adoption process needs to take place. And the adoption process has pretty much two sub-processes. The training part, where the trainers are trained and the users are trained so that they can know how to use the system. But then there needs to be always the data migration part. And data migration means that when a new customer starts to use EBS, it means that they have a legacy system that they have used before. That legacy system consists of data about breeding, pedigrees, germplasm, experiments, phenotypes, all that data that has been accumulated over the years. So of course, we need to be able to migrate that data from A to B, from the previous system to EBS, so that it doesn't disrupt the operations. So that's why we have been building this data migration pipeline from breeding management system to EBS. The outcome is that we have now better version of the migration pipeline. It's not perfect yet, but we took a huge step forward with the ambition to semi-automate the process as much as possible, which means then that when a customer has a BMS up and running, our ambition is that we can migrate the data in a couple of weeks from database to database. And when we have accomplished that task, then we can close off the data migration pipeline work. Another accomplishment on Q1 was that CIMIT turned over their maize and wheat environments to us. So the tax teams is maintaining the infrastructure in the AWS for the production environments of maize and wheat. Now in total, we have 4 production environments, and of course, the more customers we have, the more cost saving our customers will have from the AWS. So that was done in Q1. This webinar is about digital solution, and up until now, you guys have been hearing EBS this and EBS that and so forth. But the ambition in digital solution really is to not be one-trick ponies. We want to provide services outside of our usual business, that is EBS. And this is one of the accomplishments from Jack's team that was completed. So cloud-based high-performance computing for accelerated bidding initiated. ABI they are running these bidding optimization simulations, and they need high computer resource. And they reached us, and we worked together with them last year, trying to understand what they want, what they need, what we could offer. And the outcome is that during Q1, we established a solution for them and established a production environment. That's a new product for us, and hopefully shows the capacity that we have within the team that we can do a lot more than just EBS. Cloud engineering is what we can offer as well. We are heavy users of AWS, Amazon Web Services, and we want to learn how to use it even more. AWS is full of different kind of services, and sometimes it's a little bit overwhelming to understand what they offer. They are building and releasing new services all the time. Our job is to understand what those services are, to make best use of those, and to understand that what services can actually be beneficial for our customer. But we are going to try a couple of new services that they provide with proof of concept, so that we learn that is this something that we can use in our own operations to improve them, or is this something, this kind of know-how or solution that we can build is something that we could offer to our customers. So we are doing exactly that. We have a couple of, I think 4 in total proof of concepts that we are going to work during Q2. And when we have a Q2 seminar or webinar in July, August, then we can provide more information about it. Another thing that we did was that we want to broaden our product portfolio. The EBS is the flagship product that we have, but then we are looking new solutions that we could provide, work together with our customers and establish something. And plant disease dashboard was a topic that mentioned to us, and then our senior management decided that we need to act on it, and that's exactly what we did. The beginning of product development phase, there's this discovery that needs to be done. And the plant disease dashboard has gone through the discovery phase, where we are trying to understand that what are the business reality where we are living, that, for example, this kind of plant disease dashboard sounds like a good idea, but is it really feasible to actually implement and provide? So we have done our homework together with the subject matter experts, and we have now a pretty good understanding about what kind of product this would be, and we go from there with potential customers. I will turn over to the next one. Thanks.
Thanks again, Marco. And this is Kate again to talk a little bit about some of the new functionalities and features that have been implemented by the great development teams working in different areas on the EBS. And I and my colleague Rosemary will highlight some functionalities from the different areas, starting with operational genotyping. So we're very excited that now within the EBS and also in conjunction with the CG service portal, that users are able to carry out all of the processes for operational genotyping. There have been various tweaks and improvements and new functionalities added in this area so that users can make a request within the EBS to identify what needs to be genotyped and why. Then there are tools to facilitate the sampling process, defining the technology and the vendor that will be doing the genotyping, which helps support the creation of plate layouts and the sampling of materials. Then when these are being submitted to the negotiated services through the CG for Intertech for low density or Dart tag for medium density, there is an interaction with the service portal where users can create their request and upload the sample information from the EBS, and then that system can generate the vendor documents And when the vendors send the genotypic data results back to the EBS users, they're able to load those data directly to the EBS, and then they can be reviewed in molecular data analysis and be made available for other analysis in BioFlow in the future. So really, the process can be now carried out within the system so that users can generate the genotypic data that they need for various types of analyses. And just to highlight, as Marco mentioned, interoperability with other systems is a hallmark of the EBS. So we're thankful that now when users generate their samples within the EBS that get a unique sample code assigned to them, those can now be imported into the CG service portal to ensure that when the results come back from the vendors, that same sample code can be used to identify the samples in the system. And when they're uploaded, the data can be connected back to the appropriate germplasm and inventory items, et cetera, to facilitate downstream analyses. So we'd also like to highlight some of the updates that have been implemented in breeding analytics. We'll start with mentioning some of the updates in the statistical design models. So within the system, there's a possibility to generate various types of designs and or to upload designs that have been externally generated. And of course, people want that process to be as efficient as possible. So the team has worked to enable faster uploads and validation of the uploaded data by optimizing the data retrieval and processing. So it's a faster process for the users. And in addition, every once in a while, something may not go as expected. And so if there is something unexpected, the team has worked to make sure that there are clearer messages that are provided to the users about what may have gone wrong. So for example, if they were missing a particular column that they needed to be able to generate that type of design, the users can be more clearly alerted to that so that they can take the appropriate measures and get their designs into the system. Another important tool in breeding analytics is the Phenotypic Data Manager, which enables people to review the phenotypic data that have been uploaded to the system and to ensure that it's of high quality before it goes into downstream analyses. So work has been done to improve the user interface so that the summary statistics that are provided about the phenotypic data, as well as the raw phenotypic data, are synchronized when people are opening multiple data sets for review. And in addition, after people review the data and make any appropriate modifications, for example, to suppress data points, they need to save that information. And that process has also been accelerated to make the overall data review more efficient. Analysis Request Manager is another tool in the breeding analytics portfolio, which allows people to perform analyses within the EBS and to download results from that. Again, to make it easier for users to understand if something has gone wrong, how they can fix it. Some new error messages have been implemented to let users know if there are issues with augmented and row column designs. And also ARM is able to interconnect and to provide some files for BioFlow. So it's easier now for users to identify in Analysis Request Manager what the source will be, whether it's EBS or BioFlow. Also, another improvement has been to enable users within a multi-occurrence experiment to use different designs potentially at different sites. And so now when looking at different occurrences within the same experiment, people can see which particular design was applied to each occurrence. Also, with the data that are able to be uploaded to the system efficiently through the operational genotyping, there are now some tools that are available for performing analyses directly within the EBS. One of these is for parental purity testing, and there have been some updates to the algorithms to support different types of situations in which people may want to do a parental purity analysis. And also the reports that are generated have been modified, hopefully, to make the data that people need more easily visible to them. Also, a second test that's available within the system is to look for F1 verification. And so there have also been some enhancements made to that analysis that's available in the system. And the team has started to put into place the groundwork for being able to support QTL profiling within breeding analytics as well. I'd like to turn over to Rosemary. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Hello, everyone. I'm Rosemary, Business Requirement Analyst and Data Manager at Summit, Mexico. I'm going to give you quick highlights on the code breeding tools. In experiment creation, the team worked on the new design interface and made major improvements. As you can see here in the screenshots, so the new design interface of the experiment creation now enables us to generate and upload the augmented design, non-sparse. And as you know, that previous version of the EBS enable us to generate and upload the design only while using the old interface. So it is available for the new interface as well. And similarly, the tool now enables us to copy breeding trials whose randomizations were generated using the new interface as shown in the screenshot. So you can see here, like, you can copy the entries, basic information, design, and site, and then you can preview the new design. As shown in the another screenshot, the third one, the new design interface also enable us to upload the design files using the new template available for download and use for uploading the design created outside the EBS. So these are the major improvements made in the experiment creation. In Experiment Manager, now it allows us to add occurrences for the trial experiments generated using the new design interface to generate randomization for non-sparse testing. So before it was only available for the trial experiments that were created using the old interface. And apart from that, faster loading times when editing occurrences is another major improvements that we made in Experiment Manager, which enables users to manage and then update experiments with large number of occurrences. For example, in the case of IWIN, there are 150 or something occurrences like that. So it is now faster to edit the occurrences.
Okay, so data collection there have been enhancements on the EBS side as well as in the Fieldbook application, which is developed externally. So Fieldbook has continued to update. It was probably 6.0.7 at the end of Q1. It's now at 6.2.2, I believe. And EBS continues to evolve to be able to ensure that data can pass seamlessly between this tool and the EBS using BRAPI. So the ability to pass files via CSV still exists, but users can now log in via BRAPI directly to Fieldbook and pass data back and forth to the EBS. Also, some updates have been made to the rules for accepting data. So now, even if people have harvested their crosses, if they have additional trait data that they need to load to them, they can still continue to upload that. And there's also been continued work on the interface for being able to upload post-harvest data, including making it easier for people to print out directly tags or labels after generating their data. And also, as Simon mentioned, there should be a seminar in June looking at this post-harvest data collection tool. Also, in Harvest Manager, there has been a major update in the back end of this tool. So it may not be very visible to users who have been using Harvest Manager previously, but the system has been updated to make it much easier to configure new rules for harvest methods, for how to write names, because adoption is a key and active process. And as new crops come into the system, new harvest methods for hybrid, inbred, clonally propagated crops, apomixes, CMS, double haploids, et cetera, the system needs to be quite flexible. And now, thanks to a great development effort, it is much easier to configure new use cases for new crops that come online and also for existing crops. And the system is also trying to make it clearer when people are harvesting within the system what has happened, and if there are any challenges, what might have caused the failure, so that can be more easily resolved. Below the image, you can see just a few examples of specific improvements that have been made to support the needs of the DCP crops and cowpea and soybean. But now, as I mentioned, the system is much more configurable to make it easier to update and add new use cases. So the system is providing additional information to users in the user interface and more flexibility for new harvest methods, new crops, etc. Germplasm Manager is a site where people are able to extract lists of germplasm and to search for germplasm of interest. It also provides a printout tool, which can be used to make customized reports for providing additional information about germplasm. And now those customized reports work well currently up to at least 1,000 germplasm. So users are warned if they're trying to export any of those customized reports about the number of records that they're choosing so that they can generate the printout reports that they need with a reasonable number of germplasm records. Okay, list manager. So as our users know, there are various types of lists that you can generate within the system: seed, germplasm, trait, plots. And for all of those lists, it's possible to export it from the system, and efforts have been made to increase the amount of information that can now be exported for those different types of lists.
So apart from that, the team has made 20 minor improvements, 12 hot fixes, and 38 bug fixes. So this is the improvements made by the core breeding team. Over to you, Marco.
Thanks, Rosemary. Hello, everybody. It's me again. This time I'm talking in behalf of Jacille. She's on well-deserved holiday. So Hyphen and EBS integration is the topic. Hyphen is an image analysis solution that has been adopted in CG. So pretty much drones can be flying over the fields, and then those images that has been taken by the drones can be then processed, and the processing then produces phenotypic data. What does it mean in practice is that over the years, many times people have questioned from us that how is EBS going to support time series data? And now we can say that yes. And through Hyphen work, we are going to do that. Hyphen is an image processing service that is used in different parts of CG. What we are doing is that the images that has been taken through drones and have been processed in Hyphen, the results can be then stored to the EBS database. So our objective is to be able to consume and store the data that has been processed from those images to EBS database. Until now, the time series data that those drones produced, we haven't been able to store that information, and the objective is that we can. This is not just for Hyphen, we are making it in a generic way so that any kind of time series data can be stored to the database and then can be used in analysis tools like Bioflow. So what has happened so far? We started in the beginning of the year by basic work, understanding the requirements, understanding the systems, creating the workflows, mockups, and so forth and so forth. So the design part and project planning. And now we are actually in the implementation phase, and the objective is that we have a minimal viable product that can go from end to end so that we can store the information that it has been processed by or produced by Hyphen to the EBS database and can then send that information in a standard format to analytical pipeline. This time around, I'm talking in behalf of James Clevenger, who happens to be in the board meeting, who's the engineering lead in our team. His main job right now is to work in the AgPile project, and I hope to provide you a little bit of information about that. So what is AgPile? It's pretty much a data platform that Gates is funding, and they are establishing it now. The intention is that it consumes all kinds of databases, and then different kind of analytical pipelines can be used, and data visualization tools can be used as well to understand the data. What does it provide? Like I mentioned, functionalities and tools to enable the search and integrate data sources. It depends on a person. Different people are in different jobs in the CG, and their needs are a little bit different. But a lot of our staff members, they are either producing data or analyzing the data or utilizing it different kind of ways. So AgPile will be the platform that can be used that for a array of different people within CG. So the AgPile provides different kind of functionalities, different kind of data sets, people that are acting in different kind of roles. What does it mean in practice? Like mentioned, we have different data sources, different databases, breeding databases, research databases, publications, and so forth and so forth. So the intention is that we link them to the ACPI so that the data will be available in the ACPI. And then to be able to use those different data sets, tools are needed. So the ACPI will consist also of tools or links to the tools that can be used to analyze and understand the data that is out there. And there are linkages between data. So different actors that have different purpose in CG can have different access to different kind of data sets and different kind of tools. So if you happen to be a Greek person, you have access to the middle database and on the right side, the second to last tool, for example. But the next slide shows this a little bit better. So let's go there. So what does it mean in practice? So for example, if you happen to be a gene bank manager, your operational data about the gene bank, so passport data, for example. But at times it would be very, very useful for the gene bank manager to know that how the material is used in different CG programs, the accessions that has been used in pre-breeding and so forth. So they need access to the breeding data. And that's what ACPI will provide to them. They have the gene bank data, they know what to do with that, but they can combine that with the breeding data. Plant breeders, same kind of thing. At times they need to be able to access gene bank data, but they need to also understand the markets, what they are breeding for. So they need to understand what are the products that the customers actually want. So they need to be able to have access to the market data and the on-farm data that provides information how the current varieties are going in different farmers' field. So different actors from different points of view access the same platform. They have relevant data that they need and tools that they need. For example, funders, they will have the breeding impact dashboards so that they know what kind of impact their funding is resulting in CG. So this is a practical example, one of the proof of concepts that I believe they did in the beginning of the year. So what does it mean in practice is that they have two different kind of data sets, survey data from CIMMYT Dataverse, and then we have the accession data in Genesis, which is the public-facing data repository for accessions. They have an API that they can use to combine the information and then build a tool. In this particular case, the tool is a dashboard that can be used to analyze the data sets. So that's the intention, different kind of use cases for different kind of purposes, providing the data available for analytics and decision making. So where are they now? Well, right now I think they are in the board meeting, steering team meeting, sorry. But it's quite new project. They started last year. It really kicked off in the Q1. There will be more to come. And by the end of the year, there are use cases that they provide. So perhaps in Q2 webinar, we have more information about it, and actually the people that are working on it can do the talking instead of me. But I think that's the last slide.
Thanks, Marco. Back to you, Julie.
Thank you. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Marco. And thank you to the other presenters for all their presentations. It was very enriching and instructive. Thank you so much. We now have 6 minutes for a short Q&A and for follow-up questions. So if you wanted to either put your questions in the chat or raise your hand to address the teams directly, we'll now turn to the audience for the follow-up Q&A. So don't be shy. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them now.
Marco, can you hear me?
Oh,
Marco.
Anda, yes.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
I was still fidgeting with my microphone. I seem to not get that to work all the time. But anyway, quick question. So you talked about EBS Lite. I didn't quite get what the concept was for that and how that will work with the current version. Will that work in parallel, or that's the replacement of the current version?
So yeah, that's a good question. And we want to be very crystal clear about it, that this is really an engineering effort. So there won't be any kind of different versions of EBS. There's going to be only one version. But we are building functionalities or logics that we can utilize in a way that if somebody doesn't need a genotyping or somebody doesn't need the built-in breathing analytics or something like that, we can turn them off, which then lowers the cost. And at the same time, we are doing some engineering work to cut down the cost overall. So it's not just for light users. These improvements will affect everybody, but there's always going to be only one EBS, but we are working on to cut down the cost.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Marco, allow me to ask one question on behalf of the cassava team at IIT, which we are undergoing exploratory testing. I would like to know if the Hyphen integration with EBS data model actually allows us to also store data, image data captured with other devices, especially the Fieldbook app, because it's one of the features that the Cassava program here uses. So if Hyphen input, the input coming from Hyphen allows also other images, or it's only the input from Hyphen?
All right. Thanks, Simon. So we don't store the images itself in EBS right now. I mean, when the drones are taking the images, they are sent to the Hyphen system, and the outcome is data, and that data comes in the standard structure, and the data is time series data that we are then processing and storing to the database. So we don't store the images themselves, but we have been working on finalizing the requirements how photos can be stored to EBS, and we can share that information with the Cassava team the next time when we meet.
I wanted to reiterate that the webinar has been recorded and that the recording will leave on Breeding Resources Digital Solutions event page, where you can find also all the recordings about the previous webinars, about the enterprise breeding system, new features and functionalities, and learn more about the team and the project. You can also follow us on social media on LinkedIn, Facebook, and X. If you look for Breeding for Tomorrow, you'll find our accounts, and you'll be able to get updates about Breeding Resources, Digital Solutions, and all the other areas of work under Breeding for Tomorrow. I see there are no questions either in the chat or from the crowd. I see Marco is celebrating, sort of, the end of the webinar.
Not yet celebrating, but yeah, I just want to thank everybody that was involved in establishing this webinar. Of course, the audience. I mean, like you saw, we presented a lot of things on behalf of people. So it really is a great team to be in, and I hope you got a little bit of information about what we are doing and looking forward what we can do next.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Marco. Thank you, everyone. If there are no more questions, I think we can now close the webinar.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.